Hey guys, with a new Matrix comes a new video, and I'm going to try to walk you guys through how you can get a higher score very easily with a kind of cheese method. And I'm going to try my best to explain it and then go into it. For context, I can get about 166k or so. You can see my scores on the screen. I'm just not saving them because I actually want to show you guys. And the reason for this is because of a strategy I'm going to show you. Before I get into that though, I want to talk about Jensen versus Nicholas. So for context here, Jensen does not have everything A5. His gear is great, he's a great player, but honestly, in the previous Matrix, he would not have compared to Nicholas, who has almost everything A5, has some of the most cracked out gear you can get, and was getting about 164k before the update. But Jensen, who I will credit with the strategy that I'm going to show you, is using the strategy, which is why he's getting a higher score. So let me show you the damage numbers. As you can see here, we have 1.8 billion, we have 1.7 billion. I'll tell you guys why this is the case and why this is normal in a second. 1.3 bill, 1.3 bill. And then for physical, Estrad is good, by the way. But you can see the billions of damage there. If you go to Nicholas, 2.7 bill, 1.6, 1.5, 1.5, 1.4, that is more damage. Going over here, you can see 2, 1.2, 1.1, 9, 800,000. And the scores are very similar, with Jensen even having a higher score. So what is the reason for this? Well, to describe this, I have to show you guys how the bosses changed. As you can see here, these are my teams. I think I'm the only person running these variations. I get about, like I said before, like 70k or so, and then 95k. Now, obviously, my gear is really good. Most of my things are 85, but the general idea is the same. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to place everyone. So I'm going to do Ezrath first. I'm going to do Narissa. Then I'm going to do Valara. Then I'm going to give Valara a buff. I'm going to give Magda a buff. And then, oh wait, sorry, I messed up the placements a little bit. General thing is the same though. Ezrath, bam. Narissa, bam. We go with Valara, bam. We go Elowen like this, and I'll explain why Elowen's healing doesn't matter very much. She's mostly just for the rage regen. Then we do Magda, bam. Then we do our Ingrid like this. And then we can give the thing right there. Then we can go with Beatrix. And then we can go with Valise. Now, let me talk about how the new stage works. So here I'm going to click this ultimate. I'm going to click Ezrath. And everyone's going to come out. Now, if you remember anything about the previous Matrix, you would know that the way the boss worked is it would have us 2 moves. Or 3 moves technically, but for the most part, the minions would come out, you would clear the minions, and when both sides were fully cleared, the minions would come out again, the boss had a health bar, and when the boss got to 0%, it would fall down, and there would be a wave of minions coming from the bottom. That does not exist anymore. Now, what happens is when you kill your enemies, like you're gonna see right here, bam, we kill them, we do damage, and what's going to happen is they are going to immediately respawn. As you can see right here, they're going to die. And then in a second, they are going to respawn completely. Now, what common sense dictates and what Nicholas did is he spammed his ultimates trying to do as much damage as possible. But a very different thing that the new Matrix has over the old Matrix is these stacks. So before, every time the boss went down and came up, it would gain a stack and get stronger. Now, the way this works is every minion you kill is going to increase the stacks. Now, you want to kill the minions, right? But why is building stacks bad? Well, building stacks makes it so not only does the boss do more damage, but more importantly, it makes the minions gain HP, and I think it makes them more resistant, but I could be wrong about that. So you're supposed to kill everything, but when you kill things, it makes them harder to kill. So what ends up happening is it kind of becomes harder to kill things as time goes on. All right, so that's very important there. Now, not only that, we have 2 new attacks and 1 attack that's slightly modified. Here we have something called Decay Overflow, which is like the AoE attack, but this time what it does is it does 1 damage or 1 hit of damage and then puts out the debuffs. Now the reason why Eloin is right here for me, facing left, for some weird ass reason, sorry I got hiccups there, basically you don't need any consistent healing output. You just need someone to cleanse, which is why I have Narissa, right? That is the first attack, right? Instead of a 2-hitter, it's a 1-hitter. Basically, you either instantly die or you build your units tanky enough to not die. Now, the other thing is Focus Strike. Focus Strike is the same as before, except for 1 key difference. It does a hit, then damage over time. If you have an Ezreath here, it makes it so that he doesn't take the damage over time, so him and Karn will live forever. Wukong works, Ezreal works, Khadgar works, Cyrus works to all kind of survive it. But essentially that is the same, but when the unit dies, it's not going to wipe out your whole team anymore, which is good. But the last thing is very important. So it does both of these attacks twice. And then we get to the main meat. And this is where the strategy comes in. So as you can see in the top left, we have about 60 stacks. And then there's going to be another ability that comes out. And this is the most important ability for the new fight. Here, I'm going to click Magda. This new ability is called Pact of Silence. Remember what I said about the stacks. These are the most important thing, right? The higher they build up, the harder it is to not only live, but to deal damage. So how do you deal with this? Well, the Pact of Silence is going to charge, and it's going to make the stage work differently. Because now, when Pact of Silence is active, every kill we get will no longer increase the stacks, it will decrease the stacks. So now, Matrix, instead of being do as much damage as you can, instead of it being more like just doing as much damage as you can, this is now wait until this ability, use all your ults, and then never ult otherwise. And that is how you do Matrix now. So as you can see, now that we are spamming our ultimates, we are lowering it, which makes not only the enemies easier to kill, it makes it so we survive longer. And this is exactly what you have to do. So now, Matrix, which in my opinion is worse, but that's another topic, essentially all you do is you wait until that ability, just make sure that Ezreal has a stack, which I didn't, so we'll probably die. And then you just let your ults rip, and that's it. So here we're waiting, obviously, and we know that there will be a, after this Focus Strike, we know that there will be a freaking ability. So what we're gonna do is after the Focus Strike hits, even before it comes out, we're gonna press our ultimates, and we're gonna shred, and we're gonna lower the stacks. And this is all you do. Now there is a bit more nuance to this, I will admit. Mainly in magic phase, but also in physical phase, where you do kind of want to strike a balance between using your ultimates immediately and not using them at all. There's certain heroes like Valise and Ezreath where you do actually want to use their ults as often as you can, but for the most part, if I'm being honest, Matrix is just manual it and then use your ult towards the end of the fight. So here we're gonna click our Beatrix ult. We could do that. We could do our Valise ult if we want. These ults will all come back in a short period of time. We're gonna swap Ezreath. We're gonna wait until maybe one more attack, and then we're gonna click Magda. We're gonna wait a little bit because we're gonna get hit by another AoE. We don't really need the Wood Elf, but I just put it there as a reflex. Now that we've been hit by 2 debuffs, we're gonna click Narissa ult to cleanse, and now we're going to swap Ezreath, try to build up a stack so he doesn't die, because he needs a stack to be immune to debuffs. Now we're going to click our ultimates, because we're about to get hit by the main strong move. I'm going to swap him, and now we're going to reduce our stacks. And essentially you repeat this the entire fight, with no variation. Because like I said, you don't need healing anymore at all, really. You don't need to worry about dying as long as you do this. You don't need to worry about attacking, right? So this is how you're going to be doing Matrix now. I think it's lame, and I think I've made that very clear, but it's my job to instruct you guys how to do things properly and as efficiently as possible. And this is just simply how it goes. So my Ezra died because Carnelian didn't orb him for some reason, but essentially you just do that. And this is what gets you a score like Jinx's. Now that's kind of it, right? So I'll have some videos going over like more specific like team comps you could use. Maybe I'll make a video specifically going through my entire run for my 160k. Maybe I'll do a video on certain tanks, like Wukong is unironically a good tank now. But for the most part, this is all I can really say about Matrix. So here is the physical theme that I use. And essentially, same thing. So what you're going to see is I do actually try to squeeze in alts in between. So here I'm going to use some alts immediately because I know that I'll have them back. Especially in physical, where you're able to get a lot of rage regen, because Leia, you have Airless, you have Tallulah. You're actually going to be able to ult more often, but for the most part, it's the same thing. Wait for the focus strikes with Adrian trying to tank them, and then you just spam the ultimates around when the ability is about to come out. You lower the stacks and you leave it. So I guess for the end of the video, I'm just going to show you guys the full run on auto, and I will leave it off. So pretty self-explanatory in my opinion, and as long as you know about it, which is obviously why I'm making this video, this becomes very simple. So I do think it is a lot easier to get scores like 100k, 120k if you are later in the game and you have a lot of the units, obviously. But when you get really high, you have to employ this. So if you want to get the Demon Soldier Select chest, you have to use this strategy. Basically, all I would recommend is trying to learn how your rage regen works and see who can I slot 2 alts in. Do I just use 1 alt? How do I time Adrian in a way that makes it so he doesn't crumple like paper? Because, I mean, my Adrian's A0, A1's very good, makes him tankier. I don't have that luxury, right? So I'm just trying to figure out how I should ult, and essentially in between that 1 attack that comes out, which is obviously in between 4 attacks, I'm going to do nothing in between that. So here we're gonna see 1 more single target, which Adrian hopefully can survive in his ult, and then immediately after, Pact to Silence, and we're gonna let all our ults rip, and that is the entire stage. So yeah, there's not much more I could say. Anyways, I hope this helps y'all. Like I said, I would stick around, but this is hard to talk over, but I do hope this helps you guys. It is pretty simple, but I tried my best to explain it. Hopefully I did an okay job. As you can see, we're getting about 50k with 2 minutes left. It's certainly easier to get score, but trust me, if you don't do this stack thing, at the last like 2 minutes, you'll do like 0 damage and get 0 score. So you do have to do it this way, which is a little crazy. As you can see, 57, 58k, which is pretty cool. I would like to get over 70, which would be pretty sick. Hopefully Adrian can hold out a little bit, which he can't. That's the problem that I run into here. So as long as I can figure out how to make it so that Airless procs on him and keeps him alive, or just make it so that Adrian can actually tank that ability, then I think I'll be okay. Back to Silence again, obviously, and then reshred. Mina buff also makes it really good for this, so I do highly recommend using Mina. But as you can see, that's the score we get. And I forgot I waited even more. Oh, Airless save? Nah, doesn't help. And then we're gonna get about 68k, 69k, which is cool. Anyways, yeah, that's this thing. Oh, also they eliminated RNG and autos, and I don't know how to feel about it. So it'll get you the exact same score as before. Anyways, yeah. I'm actually done yapping this time about literally nothing. There's the damage numbers. Enjoy. Hope this helps. Bye-bye. Good luck. Destined signing out.